But the thing about the world building thing is, I personally disagree with it. Like, but it kind of made the series last in a way that a lot of series don't. Like, because if you build a rich world and have strong characters, here's the thing. Like, if Empire does not exist the way Empire exists, I don't think
Star Wars would be around today.
I don't think Star Wars would be around today. And I feel like that's kind of the beautiful magic that happened. Like, George Lucas wanted to build the world, and he did that. He built a strong world in A New Hope. Like, he wrote that script by himself and directed it by himself.
And they built basically everything by themselves.
Yeah.
Because
that was a B movie. It was not supposed to do what it did. This was not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And it's here.
And
but
we love it all.
It's here 30 some odd years later.
Almost 40.
Almost 40, but not quite yet.
Yeah, by the time we get by the time we get episode 8, it'll be 40 years, and that's got to be something special.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we are still talking about Star Wars, and this is a franchise that started in the freaking 70s. Like,
it officially started in 76 when they released the book a year before the movie happened. That was their advertisement, because it was low budget. They didn't have like commercials or anything. Like, they had a trailer, because you need a trailer at least. But like, they released the book, and people were like, "That's interesting. I'll go and see it." And then it happened, and it changed movies forever. It changed everything. It basically made movies in what they are. What they have been for the last almost 40 years.
Yeah.
So the use of effects have changed in movies. Basically everything was now completely different. And like there's only a few movies that have done that, like maybe before.
Yeah.
Like Citizen Kane, let's see, like Gone with the Wind,
The Godfather.
Was that before?
I think it was. I think it was in the 70s.
Oh, anyway, while he's looking that up, but since then, like we've had a few movies that have changed how things have worked, but those have been like other movies that weren't supposed to do that well, like Lord of the Rings. Again, I mean, these two have basically coincided this whole video. We may as well keep going. Lord of the Rings changed how movies were made.
Godfather was 1972.
72? Okay. So yeah, Godfather changed how
gangster movies worked.
How gangster movies worked, but also modern setting movies.
Yeah.
For like a long time, until like a couple more movies came out that were like totally different flavors, but they changed how like telling stories in modern settings do.
Well, they like made the first quintessential gangster movie, and then Scorsese was like, "What if we broke it? What if we tested the limits of this?"
Yeah.
But back to Star Wars.
And well, at the current point in Lord of the Rings, but it changed like the scale of what movies could be, because Star Wars did that with like the big ship battles, but if you go and look at it, like if you go and you look at like the special features parts, they're basically like Star Wars Armada right there, in a blue backdrop, and them like moving them around with like all these different little things. They're just like miniature sets. Yeah. And like,
'cause that's what you did.
Yeah, well that's what they had to do.
Yeah, because that's all you could do, and
unless you like 2D animated it, but that would have looked dumb. So
that would have
they had to build the Star Trek route.
That would have looked dumb, but that might have been fun.
Well, they didn't have that kind of money, because 2D is expensive.
Well, here's the other thing. What Army of Darkness did was like
claymation.
Claymation. Those skeleton skeletons were claymation. That's stupid, but it looks really good.
Yeah.
Like, anything that's dumb.
What was it, Jason and the Argonauts that started the claymation skeletons?
Yeah, Jason and the Argonauts had that, yeah.
Yeah, was that like the first one, I think?
I could not tell you.
Okay. Well, we don't know things about movies, even though we talk about movies all the time. We don't know like big movies in cinema besides Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
we know the big movies. We just don't know like
about them,
the deeper history stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway,
and then like Lord of the
anything that looks stupid can look good if you own it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think was the quintessential thing about what Star Wars did, about what Star Trek did, and about what Army of Darkness did. Like, if you own the stupidity, you can make the audience go along with you.
Yeah.
And that's why I think some movies from back in the day hold up and some movies don't.
Yeah.
Because, like, there are movies where, like, you can tell that the actors don't believe it. Like, you can tell that, like... You can tell that, like, the director didn't believe it.
Uh-huh.
Because, like, just the way it's shot, it looks fake.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fake. And, like, what we've been talking about, yes, it looks fake, but they're owning it. They're making it part of the world. And if you own your silliness...
You own the universe.
You own the world, yeah.
Because, like, I had a train of thought. Like... The Lord of the Rings bigatures. These guys, like, for the Tower of Orthanc, they made this huge tower base that stood about 10 feet tall and was, like, maybe, like, 8 feet wide on all four sides. They sculpted this big-ass thing for, like, the 3 times it's in the movie. And, like, Khazad Dûm and all of the, like, caverns and whatnot.
There's a lot of stuff like that in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like, there are these big fucking miniatures.
Yeah.
That they just built,
and they could
for 2 scenes.
They could have half-assed it too, because it's just going to be in 2 scenes. Mm-hmm. But they didn't, because nothing in that movie cuts corners. Mm-mm. Like, there is nothing in Lord of the Rings that does not feel genuine in any way, shape, or form, and that's what's so great.
Yeah,
and that's what's so great about Star Wars, because. Yeah, they're doing stupid shit.
Like I just remembered what it was. Like, during the Death Star trench run.
Yeah.
When, Red Leader goes down, the scene to where it, like, sweeps as his, like, ship explodes.
Yeah.
The Death Star surface is literally nothing but battleship pieces. And what they did was they put all these battleship pieces on, like, a ping pong table, put it in the middle of the parking lot.
Which must have taken hours.
But they put it in the middle of the parking lot, and they put, like, the pyrotechnics in the middle of the thing.
God, that's cool.
Drove by it in George Lucas's car as the cameraman sits there and does that, like, as they're driving by, sweep, like, cinematic sweep.
Yeah.
That was how that scene was filmed. They built a ping pong table of battleship pieces and drove by it by a car and didn't hit it.
Because fuck you. Because we're gonna redo movies right now.
But they weren't expecting to do that.
I know.
They were like, how do we, let's do this.
The amount of love.
Like, Star Wars cut a lot of corners.
Yeah, but the amount of
it's
love.
so much.
The amount of love that went into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's George Lucas's baby.
Yeah.
It's
not his anymore.
It's his baby. And he knowing full
he
well.
had to give it up for adoption.
knowing full well that he probably wasn't gonna make a lot of money on it. Little did he know he made all of the money.
Instead of like getting the maybe $300,000 paycheck, he was like, I want the rights to merchandising, and Fox was like, sure, whatever. Oh, poor Fox.
Yeah.
They lost out on a deal, and Sir Alec Guinness was like, I don't want to be paid. I just want like 2% of all the marketing. And George Lucas is like, okay, whatever. And
it's crazy.
Like Sir Alec Guinness got filthy fucking rich, and he hated Star Wars after that because everyone saw him as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So everyone's like, hey, it's old Ben, and Sir Alec Guinness was like, I'm a Shakespearean actor. I'm real.
You know, I've done other things. What?
Other things?
But it's crazy how Star Wars has like shaped our modern world.
Yeah.
And like, I'm gonna try and get us back onto track. Like video games that have accurately depicted like the Star Wars world.
Yeah.
Like there's been a lot of very good ones, but the ones that I think really get it are the ones that have the good lightsaber combat.
And there's not a lot of those.
There's not a lot, but like the first-person shooter ones, they're first-person shooters.
Yeah.
You can get a shooting game pretty well.
Yeah.
But the
Republic Commando.
Oh God, please! They were gonna make a second one.
I know.
And it got canned as well.
Yeah.
But like the few games that got the feeling of you are a Jedi so right, I think like really have kept this franchise, like the video game franchise, still above water.
Yeah.
Because like they came at all the right times. Because like the prequels happened and Star Wars Obi-Wan happened.
Yeah.
It was like there was more Star Wars Obi-Wan than there was Episode 1. Because like Episode 1 doesn't start until halfway through the game.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
Well, yeah, that's a really good way to like make a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Is like the best way to fill time in a movie game, start before it started. Like, show us the setup. It's like a lot of those Star Wars movies start when they're in a bad way,
or like the middle of the story in Episode 4.
Yeah. Tell me what happened.
Let's start with Part 4.
Let's start with Part 4.
So like that happened, and it kind of changed how lightsabers worked in video games, because I think beforehand you had just Dark Forces 2, where you just whacked it with a glowy stick and it died. So with this one you had because it was in the Clone Wars and you had droids, so you could chop them up to pieces.
Yeah. And
it wasn't gory, and it wasn't terrifying for children. So anyone could play this, and I played this, and it was also a platformer, so I was awful at it until later in life.
Yeah.
I finally beat that, by the way, though. And that was really a cool feeling. But
were you hooked on a feeling?
I wasn't hooked on a feeling. I was like, I'm done with this shit. I win.
Finished.
And it really showed how how being a Jedi could really feel.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. Just you had force push, force pull, force jump. You had a slow motion ability, which was kind of cool. And then the D-pad control, you pushed up on the D-pad and it would ignite the lightsaber. You push it down and it would put it back in. And you're like, ee!
Yeah, that's one of those pointless things in a game like that, because
it's appreciated for it.
Yeah, it's nice to have that in there. The Wolverine game that came out that came out alongside X2, the second X-Men movie. Mm-hmm. Wolverine's Revenge, I believe it was called. Mm-hmm. Which, not a great game, mm-hmm. but it was a decent enough Wolverine game.